नमस्कार। उपराष्ट्रपति एम वेंकैया नायडू नेताजी इंडियाज इंडिपेंडेंस एंड ब्रिटिश आर्काइव्स पुस्तक का विमोचन करने वाले हैं। आइए आपको सीधा लिए चलते हैं।
आज हम एक पुस्तक का रिलीज़ करने के लिए यहाँ हैं और उस पुस्तक का नाम है नेताजी इंडियाज इंडिपेंडेंस एंड ब्रिटिश आर्काइव्स। ये पुस्तक वेंकैया जी के करकमलों द्वारा रिलीज़ होगी। ये एक बड़ा खुशी का और हमारे लिए गर्व का उत्सव है। बहुत सालों से देश में एक विचार चल रहा था कि महात्मा गांधी ने और कांग्रेस ने भारत को शांतिपूर्ण आंदोलन के ज़रिए बिना खड़ग बिना ढाल आज़ाद करवा दिया, लेकिन ये बात बिल्कुल सच नहीं है। इस किताब के लेखक डॉक्टर कल्याण कुमार डे, उन्होंने बहुत रिसर्च के बाद ये साबित कर दिया है कि हिंदुस्तान को आज़ादी अहिंसा के आंदोलन से नहीं मिली, बल्कि नेताजी सुभाष और आज़ाद हिंद फौज के 30,000 के लगभग जवानों की कुर्बानी से मिली है। डॉक्टर कल्याण डे कोरोना की वजह से आज उपस्थित नहीं हैं, वैसे भी वो यूएस में रहते हैं और वहीं बसे हुए हैं। इस पुस्तक को पब्लिश करने की जिम्मेवारी नेताजी सुभाष बोस आईएनए ट्रस्ट को दी गई है और गरुड़ा प्रकाशन, दिल्ली स्थित गरुड़ा प्रकाशन इस पुस्तक को कई भाषाओं में प्रकाशित करने का उन्होंने जिम्मा लिया है। अंकुर पाठक जी जो इसके प्रकाशक हैं, उनको भी अभिनंदन है। भारत के युवाओं के लिए सबसे बड़े आइकॉन नेताजी सुभाष बोस थे। आईएनए ट्रस्ट एक बात जो चाहता है वो है कि देश कुछ ऐसा करे कि आने वाली पीढ़ियां नेताजी सुभाष के आदर्शों और जीवनी से राष्ट्र प्रेम की प्रेरणा प्राप्त करें। भारत सरकार और वेंकैया जी से हमारा यही एक अनुरोध रहा है और रहेगा। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं बहुत वेलकम करता हूं सबको, ख़ासकर वेंकैया जी को कि उन्होंने समय निकाल करके आज इस काम के लिए हमें ये वक्त दिया है। और मेरी तरफ से ये भी बहुत धन्यवाद की बात करने की है कि अजीत डोवाल जी जो हमारे मार्गदर्शक रहे हैं, वो भी आज अपना कीमती समय निकाल करके यहाँ हाजिर हुए हैं। जय हिंद। अपना कीमती समय निकाल करके यहाँ हाजिर हुए हैं। जय हिंद।
आदरणीय उपराष्ट्रपति जी, Shri Ajit Doval ji, Brigadier Chikara, and friends. At the outset, I thank the Honorable Vice President on behalf of the Netaji Subhash Bose INA Trust for consenting to release this book, Netaji, India's Independence and British Archives, which provides a fresh perspective to the events leading up to the British government's decision to quit India in August 1947. The author, Kalyan Kumar De, deserves our congratulations for putting together many key reports and documents which throw light on the huge impact that Netaji and the brave warriors of the INA had on the British and on the kind of panic that set in 1946 in the British camp after they realized the nationwide popularity of Netaji and the nationwide anger at the INA trials. This book is an invaluable addition to the literature on this subject. As Brigadier Chikara has said in the foreword, this book seeks to answer the question, why did the British leave in a hurry? Also, as he says, it's a tribute to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and the sacrifices of over 30,000 men and women who joined him to liberate India. The author quotes an Intelligence Bureau report where the Bureau warned the British government in November 1945 about the adverse effects of their policies vis-à-vis Netaji's army and how it had politically galvanized every party in the country. It warned the government that public feeling was one of sympathy for the INA. The sympathy is substantial and not confined to the cities. It warned that a mass agitation in favor of INA army would erupt. The implications of all this on the Indian army would be grave. In fact, it refers to Sardar Patel's speeches in Bombay, saying that INA soldiers must be inducted into the Indian army at some stage. Also, almost every governor in different provinces warned the British government that it would be playing with fire if it targeted the INA because the people saw them as brave freedom fighters. They also warned that this could result in a mutiny in the Indian army. For example, the governor of Punjab told Lord Wavell, a disturbing feature, he said, is that the Indian army personnel in uniform are attending meetings in honor of the INA accused. In another document, the Punjab government said that the INA were popular heroes and must be treated leniently. It also said and warned the British government that the racial sentiment against the British was building up in India. During the INA trials, mutiny broke out in the Indian Navy, as we all know. Also, a mutiny in the army at Jabalpur and revolts in army camps in Madras and Pune. Sir Twainham, the governor of central provinces, in his secret letter of 26 November 1945, confessed that he had under him 17 European ICS officers, including 3 judicial officers and 19 European members of the Indian police, making a grand total of 36 European officers. He said this, quote unquote, this handful of Europeans has to deal with a population of 18 million over an area of 100,000 square miles. It will be readily appreciated how difficult it will be for the administration, he tells the British government. This indeed sums up the shocking truth of India's colonization. A handful of British officers subjugating millions of people. How did this happen? How did we let this happen? This is the question on every Indian's mind, and when he realizes that just a few thousand Europeans turned a nation of over 400 million people into a colony. In recent years, there is great awareness among the people about this tragic fact, and there is a new resolve that we will never allow this to ever happen again. Kalyan Kumar De's book will strengthen this resolve. I once again thank you, sir, for agreeing to release this book, and I thank everyone present here for joining us at this event. Thank you very much. Sir, I would now request you to release the book.
Sri Ajit Kumar Dovarji, our National Security Advisor, Brigadier Chikara, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose INA Trust, Surya Prakash Ji, Chairman Subhash Chandra Bose INA Trust, Ms. Renuka Mala, Sri Ankur Pathak, Chairman Garuda Publications, and other friends who have all assembled here for this virtual release of this book. I am pleased to release the book, Netaji, India's Independence, authored by Dr. Kalyan Kumar De, an associate member of the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose INA Trust. This book is a valuable addition to the vast published works on India's freedom movement in general and also the contribution of Sri Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose to the freedom struggle in particular. Netaji was a charismatic leader and one of the towering personalities of the freedom movement. His patriotic zeal and unbridled love for motherland made him to resign from the coveted Indian Civil Service, ICS, and return to India from England, where he was sent to appear for the ICS examination. The prominent role played by him is well known. It's quite well known. So are the other aspects of his life, like his perspective on how to attain freedom. The enforced exile in Europe, his escape to Germany after his arrest, the operation of Azad Hind Radio in different languages, and revival of the INA. What is important is to remember his vision and legacy of building a strong India. Even though there were so many different approaches to the goal of attaining freedom, the vision was common. We have to understand this. The passion and the commitment was the same. The roots may have been different, but ultimate goal was the same. All the illustrious names that shine brightly during the country's freedom movement had a deep, unwavering reverence for their motherland. They connected every person very effortlessly with the trials and tribulations of fellow citizens and wanted to secure freedom in order to usher in a better life for the people. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is a part of this long lineage of charismatic leaders. His dynamic and courageous leadership during the freedom movement will continue to be a major source of inspiration to the people, particularly the youth. He revived the INA and made it a force to reckon with. As the documents in this book indicate, the British were quite alarmed at the rising tide of public sympathy for the INA. As the British government intelligence report had mentioned in 1945, quote, the situation in respect of Indian National Army is one which warrants disquiet, quote. Clearly, Netaji's leadership of INA gave it a credibility and a stature that made the British take serious note of this organization. It is one of the main contributing factors in the country's freedom struggle. Today also happened to be an International Youth Day. On this occasion, I call upon the youth to take inspiration from the lives of Sri Subhash Chandra Bose and strive towards building a new India, a strong, stable, prosperous, and egalitarian India. Even 7 decades after independence, the country continued to face challenges in different fronts. And the youth should be in the forefront in building a new India which is free of poverty, illiteracy, corruption, caste, gender discrimination, and where every Indian has equal opportunities. That should be our aim and our focus and our effort. Netaji's strong personality was rooted in his belief that India had a glorious past and a bright future as a nation, as a civilization, and as a culture. That was his conviction. He was proud of India's civilizational values, history and culture, which he felt formed the bedrock of our national pride and collective confidence. He also strongly believed that the great nations shape their own destinies, and he sought to rekindle the spirit among the people. At the same time, he believed that we must not insulate ourselves from other contemporary and younger cultures, as exposure to them will help in enhancing our strength and resilience. Subhash Chandra Bose was of the firm conviction that we are all Indians first, and the sub-identities based on religion, caste, and languages must not allowed to override the primary Indian identity. Netaji believed that for democracy to thrive in free India, our citizens must imbibe the values of discipline, responsibility, service, and patriotism. This concept of Mother India is uniquely Indian cultural heritage. We must preserve it, we must propagate it. Patriotism and sacrifice for the well-being of India is therefore an essential duty of every Indian citizen, above any other consideration of religion or ideology. Netaji had abiding hope for the future of Asia. He believed that Asia shares bonds of soul and spirit through cultural, religious, and historical mutuality, and India's social, economic, developmental, and strategic interests are closely intertwined with Asia as a whole. While advocating strong pan-Asia cooperation for collective security and prosperity, he had visualized India as a strong pillar of Asian strength and prosperity. Netaji and other leaders of his time tapped into the hidden capabilities of each Indian. They galvanized the forces of indomitable courage and sacrifice, of self-confidence and self-reliance to secure freedom. After independence, we are pursuing national development with the same inspiration. Dear sisters and brothers who are watching this program, India undoubtedly has made tremendous progress since independence in various fields and has emerged as the fastest growing economy. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic has disturbed the momentum and impacted our economy of India and other nations. This is the time for all of us to display greater resilience and defeat the virus and overcome the setback caused by it. India is uniquely blessed as compared to many other nations because of the youthful population. 65% of Indian population is below 35, and 50% of Indian population is below 25. It's a great demographic dividend. The potential of this demographic advantage has to be fully tapped, and the forces of growth have to be unleashed to quicken the nation's progress and build a truly Atmanirbhar Bharat. It is certain that the post-pandemic world will not be the same. While COVID-19 has brought into sharp focus the need for coordinated and concerted action globally to prevent the outbreak of such pandemics in future, it has at the same time also underlined the urgency for countries like India to build a resilient economy by becoming truly self-reliant. The basic aims to be vocal for local. By reducing dependence on imports, promote Indian brands and products, create consumption-led growth through domestic manufacturing, build world-class infrastructure, make Indian industries globally competitive, ensure ease of doing business, attract foreign investments, and develop India into a fully developed, interdependent, and self-reliant economy. Atmanirbhar does not seek to erect trade barriers or promote protectionism, but rather tap India's inherent strengths and make various sectors globally competitive. That is the aim of Atmanirbhar Bharat. For the past many years, India has become a leading global player in IT and pharmaceutical sectors. We need to fully tap the potential in other areas like manufacturing world-class medical devices. I'm happy to note that the government have recently announced an import embargo on 101 defense items as part of the measures to promote self-reliance. The import of the items from artillery guns to radars would be progressively prohibited till 2025. The launch of Atmanirbhar Saptah beginning from 10th August is also a welcome step. The need of the hour is to give a major push to the Atmanirbhar campaign by all the stakeholders, including the private sector, academia, through research. Before concluding, I would like to stress the need for our younger generation to be aware of India's history, its ancient culture. There is a need to provide a comprehensive, authentic, and objective account of the historical events. Also, the stories of sacrifice and valor by freedom fighters from across the country should be highlighted in the textbooks. The present book contains some interesting documents that throw light on the great contribution made by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose to the freedom movement. Netaji is the name which inspires everybody. The very picture of Netaji inspires patriotism, discipline, courage, conviction. So the children should be taught more about freedom struggle and the contribution particularly made by people like Subhash Chandra Bose, the role of INA. All these things should be brought to focus for the new generation to understand what was exactly the freedom movements, how many shades were there, what are the contributions made by different people. I personally feel that we often read of freedom movements, we confine it to few names. There are many who made sacrifices. We call them, some of them as regional. No, they are national. Heroes may be belonging to a particular region, but at the same time they made great sacrifices in fighting against the foreign rulers. So I personally feel that our history books must contain more about the sacrifices that are made by people like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and others. I am very happy to release the book on Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Let the children read different aspects, contributions made, enhance their understanding. That is what is needed. The children should be told of various facets of the personalities of these great people and also various stages of the freedom movement and contributions made by different people. I would like to compliment Dr. Kalyan Kumar De, who is instrumental for this book, and also the publishers of the book, and also the other members of the trust who all have taken initiative in bringing out this publication. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
On behalf of the Netaji Subhash Bose INA Trust, I have the proud privilege and honor to say our deepest and heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji. I would also like to thank our, one of our senior members from the advisory board, Shri Ajit Doval ji, National Security Advisor. All of you, we are so grateful for taking the time out in these trying times of the global pandemic, as well as what is the country going through. So our deepest gratitude and our thanks. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank the author, Kalyan Kumar De, Garuda Prakashan, and of course, Last but not the least, Brigadier R.S. Chikara, Surya Prakash ji, J.S. Rajput ji, for being the force and the guiding light for the trust. Thank you. Jai Hind.